Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. We are diving into the world of healthcare stocks today.
Yeah.
You're looking to get ahead of the curve in this crazy market. So
Yeah.
we found just the analysis to help with that.
Okay.
We're diving into a piece by Lucas Downey over at mapsignals.com
All right.
called Powerful Inflows into Small Cap Healthcare Stocks.
Okay.
Fresh off the press, February 13th, 2025. So we're talking like right now this is happening.
Oh, wow. This is hot off the press stuff.
It's hot.
Yeah.
So let's
Interesting time to be looking at the healthcare sector.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Downey argues that 2025 is a stock picker's market, meaning individual stock performance is going to be all over the place.
Okay.
So just riding the wave of the general market isn't going to cut it this year.
Okay, so it's like finding those hidden gems,
Yeah.
those individual stocks that are going to shine, even if the overall market is a bit shaky.
Exactly.
Okay.
So let's break down Downey's analysis.
All right.
He starts by painting the big picture.
Okay.
Remember back in 2024,
Oh, yeah.
the S&P 500 was on fire, gaining a whopping 25%.
Huge.
But healthcare, not so much.
Yeah, I remember that.
It lagged behind, only gaining about 2.58%.
Yeah, there was all that talk about the new presidential administration and potential regulatory changes, right?
That's right. Fear was driving investor behavior.
Really?
Everyone was hesitant to touch healthcare stocks because of the uncertainty.
Interesting.
But then 2025 rolls around and boom,
Oh.
the story completely flips.
Wait, so you're saying fear can actually, like, drive the market?
Yeah,
That's kind of wild.
it absolutely can.
Wow.
And this case is a perfect example. Suddenly, healthcare is in the driver's seat. As of February 13th, the sector is up 5.86% year to date.
Wow.
It's like everyone woke up and realized, hey, maybe healthcare isn't so bad after all.
Okay, yeah, so that's a pretty dramatic shift. How do we know when to jump in and when to hold back? It just seems impossible to predict.
That's where Downey's money flow analysis comes in.
Okay.
He argues that by tracking where the big institutions are putting their money, you can actually anticipate these changes.
So you're saying that by tracking where these big institutions are putting their money, we can get an early signal of which sectors are poised for growth.
Exactly. Think of it like
That's fascinating.
following the breadcrumbs to find the best spots before everyone else catches on.
Oh, so it's like we can get there first.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this leads us to the most interesting part of Downey's analysis, the small cap healthcare boom.
Oh, here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
These aren't the big name companies. Everyone knows these are the smaller, often overlooked players in the healthcare space.
Precisely. And they're absolutely crushing it. In 2025, small cap healthcare stocks are up 4.7% year to date, outperforming even other small cap sectors.
Wow, that's impressive. So should we all be like dumping our money into small cap healthcare right now?
Hold on, it's not quite that simple.
Okay.
Remember, it's a stock picker's market.
Right.
We need to be selective. But what makes this even more remarkable is that MapSignals actually called this upswing months ago.
Back in November of 2024, they spotted what they call an oversold signal in healthcare stocks. I'm not super familiar with all the investing lingo. Can you explain what that means?
Think of it like a spring being compressed.
Okay.
When a stock becomes oversold,
Uh-huh.
meaning it's been dropping in price for a while,
Uh-huh.
it's like that compressed spring. It has the potential to bounce back with a lot of force.
Okay, that makes sense. So they saw this potential in healthcare even when everyone else was like running scared.
Exactly. They were like, hey, don't panic. This is actually a sign that things are about to turn around.
Wow.
I guess what they were right. Since that prediction, the SPDR Healthcare Select Sector ETF, also known as XLV, is up 3.3%.
Wow, so they actually talk about having a crystal ball, but are they always this accurate?
Well, MapSignals got this prediction right.
Yeah.
Isn't it possible they just got lucky?
Mm-hmm.
How consistent is their track record?
I mean, no one can be right all the time, right? That would be a little suspicious.
It's always important to look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
But this prediction definitely adds to their credibility.
Okay.
And here's where it gets even more intriguing.
Oh.
Downey goes on to identify 3 specific small-cap healthcare companies
Okay.
that are experiencing what he calls massive accumulation from institutional investors.
Okay, so these are the companies that the big players are quietly pouring money into.
Exactly.
The ones that are flying under the radar.
This is where the real opportunity lies, finding those hidden gems before they become mainstream.
All right, spill the beans. What are the names of these companies I'm ready to invest?
Well, that's where things get a little tricky.
Uh-oh.
Downey doesn't actually reveal the names in his article.
Oh, come on.
To get that inside scoop, you have to subscribe to MapSignals' Map Pro service.
Oh, man. That's like watching a movie and having the ending cut off.
Right.
But I guess that's how they keep the lights on, right?
Exactly.
Valuable information often comes at a price.
And it's a great example of how data and analysis can give you a real edge in the market.
Okay, so for those of us who aren't quite ready to shell out for a subscription, what's the key takeaway here? What can we learn from all of this?
I think the biggest lesson is that paying attention to money flows and sector trends can help you identify investment opportunities that the general market might be overlooking.
So don't just follow the herd, do your own research, look for those signals, and you might just strike gold. But how do we even begin to do that? It seems like a lot of work.
It could seem daunting,
Yeah.
but there are tools and resources available.
Okay.
And even without being a financial expert, you can learn to spot those trends.
This is also fascinating. I'm feeling inspired to do some more digging and see what other hidden gems are out there waiting to be discovered. But let's take a moment to digest all of this amazing information before we move on. I think our listener needs a moment too.
Great idea. We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
From the surprising comeback of healthcare stocks to the power of money flow analysis.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back in a moment to dive even deeper.
All right, we're back and ready to continue our deep dive into the world of healthcare stocks.
Yeah.
Before we took a moment to catch our breath,
Uh-huh.
we were talking about how Map Signals made this impressive prediction about the healthcare sector rebound.
Right.
They were looking at these money flow patterns and saw it coming,
Mm-hmm.
even when most investors were still hesitant.
It really highlights the importance of looking beyond the headlines,
Oh, yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes the most valuable insights come from digging a little deeper and understanding the underlying forces that are shaping the market.
It's like being a detective,
Yeah,
right? Looking for those clues that everyone else is missing.
exactly.
But let's shift gears a bit and talk about the bigger picture.
Okay.
Remember how Downey mentioned that 2025 is shaping up to be a stock picker's market?
Mm-hmm.
What exactly does that mean for everyday investors like me?
Well, it means that we can't just rely on the overall market to lift all boats.
Okay.
We need to be more selective, more strategic in our approach.
Mm-hmm.
Individual stock performance is going to be key this year.
Right.
It's not enough to just pick a sector and hope for the best.
Right.
We need to identify those specific companies that are poised for growth.
So it's like we need to become stock-picking ninjas, stealthily finding those hidden gems before anyone else catches on. I'm feeling the pressure.
It's all about doing your homework, understanding the dynamics of each sector, and looking for those companies that have a solid foundation and a strong growth trajectory. Now, we've already talked about how healthcare is leading the charge in 2025,
Right.
but Downey also highlights some other interesting trends. For example, consumer staples are doing remarkably well with year-to-date gains of 5.47%.
Wait a minute. Consumer staples, isn't that like toothpaste and toilet paper?
Yeah,
I thought those were supposed to be boring, stable investments, not the rock stars of the market.
that's the common perception, yes, but sometimes those boring investments can surprise you. There are a couple of possible explanations for their strong performance this year. Maybe investors are seeking out more defensive positions in uncertain times.
Okay.
Those safe havens that tend to hold their value even when the market gets jittery.
Okay, that makes sense. People are nervous about the economy, so they're flocking to the things they know they'll always need.
Right.
But are there other reasons why consumer staples might be shining?
Absolutely. Another possibility is that there are specific companies within the staple sector that are innovating and disrupting the market.
Okay.
They might be introducing new products, expanding into new markets, or finding ways to become more efficient and profitable.
So even within these seemingly boring sectors, there are hidden gems to be found.
Yeah,
It's all about digging deeper and understanding the stories behind the numbers.
exactly.
But if healthcare and consumer staples are leading the way, who's lagging behind? Who should we be avoiding?
Dammy's analysis shows that information technology and consumer discretionary sectors are actually down year to date.
Oh, wow.
This might come as a surprise to some, as these sectors were the darlings of the market just a year ago.
Wow, talk about a dramatic shift. Technology was all the rage, and now it's taking a hit. What happened?
Well, there are a number of factors at play. Rising interest rates, concerns about inflation, and geopolitical instability have all contributed to a more cautious outlook for these sectors. Plus, remember that stock pickers market we talked about.
Yeah.
It means that even within a sector that's generally performing well, there will be winners and losers.
So it's not enough to just say, I'm investing in technology or I'm investing in consumer discretionary. We need to be more specific, more targeted in our approach.
Exactly. It's all about finding those individual companies that have a unique edge, a compelling story, and a strong track record of performance.
Okay, so for our listener who's trying to wrap their head around all of this and figure out how to navigate this crazy stock pickers market, what advice would you give them? Where should they even begin?
First and foremost, I would say stay informed and stay curious. Don't just rely on headlines or hot tips from your friends. Do your own research, read industry reports, and follow analysts who have a proven track record.
So basically become a deep diver,
Exactly.
just like us.
Dive into those financial statements, understand the companies you're investing in, and look for those signals that others might be missing. Pay attention to those money flow patterns, just like Map Signals did with healthcare.
Right, those money breadcrumbs can lead us to those hidden gems.
Exactly.
But even with all the research in the world, isn't investing still a bit of a gamble?
Of course, there's always an element of risk, but by doing your homework, you can minimize that risk and make more informed decisions. And remember, sometimes the best opportunities are found in the most unexpected places.
Like those small cap healthcare companies that are quietly crushing it while everyone else is focused on the big names.
Precisely. It's all about having the courage to look beyond the obvious and explore those uncharted territories.
I'm feeling inspired. But before we get too carried away, let's circle back to those three mysterious small cap healthcare companies that Downey identified as experiencing massive accumulation.
Right.
Do we have any more clues about who they might be?
Unfortunately, as we mentioned earlier, Downey keeps those names close to the vest. To unlock that treasure chest of knowledge, you'd have to subscribe to MapSignal's Map Pro service.
Ugh, the suspense is killing me. It's like they're dangling a carrot in front of us, but just out of reach.
Right.
But hey, maybe it's worth considering. Access to that kind of insider information could give us a real leg up in the market.
It's definitely something to think about. But even without knowing the specific names, I think there's a lot we can learn from Downey's analysis.
Absolutely. This deep dive has been incredibly eye-opening. I'm starting to see the market in a whole new light. But I think it's time to take a step back and recap what we've learned so far. Our listener's brain is probably bursting with information.
Good idea. Let's synthesize all those golden nuggets of wisdom before we move on to our final thoughts.
Okay, so let's rewind and recap all those juicy insights that we've uncovered in our deep dive into healthcare stocks.
Yeah,
It's been quite a journey.
it has. We started by unpacking this unexpected resurgence of healthcare stocks in 2025.
Right.
They went from lagging behind to leading the pack,
Yeah.
especially those under-the-radar small-cap companies.
And we can't forget about map signals and their impressive,
Oh, yeah.
almost Sherlock Holmes-like prediction.
Yeah.
They saw this upswing coming months ago by analyzing money flow data.
Right.
It's like they have a secret decoder ring for the market.
It's a great example of how powerful data analysis can be.
Yeah.
It's not about magic or guesswork. It's about understanding those subtle shifts in investor behavior
Right.
and using that information to your advantage.
Exactly. It's about being a savvy investor, not a passive bystander.
Right.
We also talked about how 2025 is shaping up to be a stock picker's market,
Yeah.
where individual stock performance is king. It's not enough to just pick a sector and hope for the best. We need to be laser focused on those specific companies that have what it takes to thrive.
We saw how even within sectors that are generally performing well,
Yeah.
like consumer staples, there are individual stories playing out.
Right.
Some companies are innovating, disrupting, and finding ways to stand out from the crowd.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that there are always opportunities for those who are willing to dig a little deeper.
And on the flip side, we saw how sectors that were once high flyers, like technology and consumer discretionary,
Right.
are facing some headwinds.
Yeah.
It just goes to show that the market is constantly evolving, and
Right.
what worked yesterday might not work today.
Exactly. It's a dynamic ecosystem, and staying ahead of the curve requires constant vigilance research and a willingness to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we can't forget about those three mystery small-cap healthcare companies that Downey teased us with.
Oh, yeah.
They're like the holy grail of hidden gems, quietly attracting massive accumulation from institutional investors.
Oh, man. I'm still kicking myself that we don't know their names.
Right.
It's like finding a treasure map, but missing the final clue that leads to the buried treasure.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe that's a challenge for our listener.
Okay.
Maybe they can crack the code and uncover those hidden gems themselves.
That's a great point. This deep dive has given you the tools and insights to start your own exploration.
Yes.
Think of this as your investing compass and go forth and conquer.
I love that.
Yeah.
So to wrap things up, what's the one key takeaway you want our listener to walk away with today?
Okay.
What's the golden nugget of wisdom that will help them navigate this wild world of investing?
I think the most important lesson is this. Don't be afraid to be a contrarian.
Okay.
Don't just follow the herd.
Right.
Do your own research, challenge conventional wisdom, and look for those opportunities that others might be overlooking.
Be a deep diver.
Exactly.
Right. Question everything.
Yeah.
Explore every nook and cranny and don't be afraid to go against the grain.
And remember, sometimes the greatest rewards come from taking calculated risks and venturing off the beaten path.
Now, before we sign off, I have one final thought-provoking question to leave our listener with.
Okay.
If MapSignals was able to predict this healthcare upswing by analyzing money flow data,
Yeah.
what other data points or signals could we be using to identify potential investment opportunities?
That's a fantastic question.
What other clues are hidden in plain sight, just waiting to be discovered?
It's like opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Maybe it's tracking consumer sentiment,
Oh,
analyzing supply chain trends,
yeah.
or even looking at social media buzz around certain companies.
Okay.
The key is to be creative, curious, and relentless in your pursuit of knowledge.
So to our listener, we encourage you to continue this deep dive on your own.
Yeah.
Explore, experiment, and never stop learning.
Yeah,
The market is full of surprises.
that's right.
And with the right mindset and a thirst for knowledge, you can position yourself to ride those waves of opportunity.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one making the next big prediction, the one who spots the next hidden gem before anyone else.
Until next time, keep diving deep.